Have you ever looked at a breathtaking photorealistic drawing and just thought, no way? How do you capture reality with just graphite? It seems like literal magic, doesn't it? Taking a simple, everyday tool like a regular pencil and transforming a blank, flat piece of paper into a three-dimensional world that you feel like you could reach right into and touch?
Well, let's dive into this. Take a look at this stunningly complex still life. I mean, observe the glint on the metal, the soft curves of the fruit, the heavy drape of the fabric. It looks incredibly advanced, but believe it or not, this level of realism is the ultimate goal for our visual analysis today. And the best part? It's built entirely on foundational techniques that anyone can learn and master.
Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this today. We're going to treat this as a true analytical art lesson, a beginner's masterclass, where we break down the sheer visual mechanics of pencil shading. We aren't just going to look at pretty pictures, we're going to deconstruct exactly why they look so real, right before your eyes.
Here's what's on our agenda today. We'll briefly meet Salian, we'll master light and shadow, tackle the illusion of texture, craft the composition, and finally, it'll be your turn to draw.
All right, part 1. Meet Salian, your guide to still life.
So before we start analyzing strokes, let's learn a bit about the hand holding the pencil. The unbelievable graphite work we're studying today comes straight from the portfolio of artist Salian. Now I know, when you observe the intense level of detail here, it might feel a little, well, intimidating. But here's the crucial thing for you to know right now. This entire collection was specifically designed as an approachable guide for beginners. Yeah, seriously. He's showing us that mastery isn't about some kind of innate, untouchable genius. It's just about understanding basic, repeatable rules of observation. Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Light and Shadow, the Fundamentals of Form.
Here is a real game changer. If you want to draw realism, you aren't actually drawing objects. Actually, scratch that. It's more like you are drawing how light behaves when it hits those objects. To do that effectively, we need to establish two crucial terms for our visual detective work today: highlights and cast shadows. Highlights are those absolute brightest spots where a light source directly hits a surface. Cast shadows, on the other hand, are the dark shapes created on other surfaces when an object physically blocks that light. Understanding the intense relationship between these two extremes, that is exactly what gives a flat drawing its realistic volume.
Now what's really interesting about this is seeing that dynamic in action. Pay attention to the intense, almost blinding highlight on the right side of that ornate jug. Because that highlight is so strong on the right, it dictates exactly what's got to happen on the left. A deep, heavy cast shadow falling directly across the table. It physically anchors the object to the surface so it doesn't look like it's just floating around in space.
Okay, I want you to actively engage with this for a second. Do some detective work. Observe those sharp, definitive shadows stretching out behind the fruit and the vases on the left side of the table. Based on the angle of those shadows, mentally trace the light source backward. You can practically see the imaginary lamp shining down from the upper right corner, right? The rigorous consistency of that directional lighting across every single object is what makes the illusion completely believable. Section 3. The illusion of texture. Metal versus organic matter.
Once you've got light and shadow dialed in, the next layer of realism is texture. Your pencil stroke actually has to fundamentally change its rhythm to communicate different material properties to the viewer's brain. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact concept side by side. On the left, observe the dark metallic vase. The reflections there are stark and high contrast, jumping immediately from pitch black to bright white. But on the right, study the apples and the draped fabric. No harsh, jarring lines there. Instead, the transitions are soft, gradual gradients. The graphite is literally smoothed out to tell our brains, hey, this is soft and organic, while those sharp lines scream, this is hard, reflective metal. Let's isolate those organic shapes for just a moment. Look closely at the shading on this group of apples in the center. Notice how the pencil strokes don't just go straight up and down in a flat grid. They gently curve, perfectly following the actual spherical form of the fruit. This technique wraps the shadow right around the object, creating a luscious, three-dimensional, organic feel that almost makes you want to reach out and grab an apple right off the page.
By contrast, let's jump back over to the metal. See the ornate jug sitting behind the bowls? Notice those incredibly sharp, intense, almost pure white highlights striking the very edges of the engravings. The artist has deliberately left the paper completely blank in those tiny little slivers. That extreme, sudden contrast instantly tricks our brain into recognizing a hard, shiny, polished surface. It is a totally different visual language than the soft gradients of the apple.
Section 4. Crafting the composition. Putting it together.
You know, shading a single apple perfectly is a fantastic skill, but true realism in a full scene requires knowing how to purposefully arrange these individual elements into a pleasing, cohesive whole. Before a beginner's pencil even touches the paper, they need to actively observe the still life composition step by step. Step 1, find the light source, just like we practiced. Step 2, identify the core shapes, like seeing the tall jug as just a simple cylinder, the apple as a sphere. Step 3, mentally map out exactly where you'll layer the shadows. This structural step-by-step thinking is the secret blueprint operating behind every great drawing.
Let's move to this and see how it builds into a fully realized scene. Because arranging your objects strategically on the table is just as important as how well you shade them. An artist carefully considers grouping objects together for maximum visual impact, deliberately overlapping them to create a sense of deep space, and establishing a clear foreground to invite the viewer right into the environment.
Observe the mechanics at play here. See how the detailed, lighter-toned apples are placed directly in front of the massive, dark vase? By simply overlapping them, it naturally and instantly pushes that heavy vase back in space. Our brains just instinctively understand that if object A blocks object B, A must be closer. It creates completely believable depth without needing any complicated architectural perspective lines.
Another totally crucial rule of strong composition is variety. If everything on the table was the exact same height and shape, the drawing would feel incredibly static and boring. You've got to vary object sizes, contrast tall vertical items with short horizontal ones, and carefully balance visual weight. This creates a musical rhythm that keeps the viewer's eye moving dynamically across the entire page.
And here is a flawless example of that compositional rhythm. Notice the striking contrast between the tall, smooth, dark bottle standing quietly in the background and the low, wide bowl bursting with highly textured, round fruit sitting right in the foreground. They balance each other perfectly. The tall bottle gives the drawing its necessary vertical energy, while the wide bowl anchors it safely to the horizontal plane.
Finally, we've got to talk about what's happening behind the objects. The background isn't just empty space that you lazily fill in at the very end. It's a vital framing device. Masterful artists frame the subjects with background elements. They use draped cloth to create flowing, sweeping lines that point your eyes back to the focal point, and they carefully ground the entire scene using the strong, stable horizontal line of a table edge.
So, the crucial point here is how the heavy vertical folds of the background cloth drop down directly behind the metallic jug and the fruit bowl. That deep, dark fabric creates a literal frame for the lighter objects. It blocks our eyes from wandering off the top or the sides of the page, making absolutely sure our attention stays locked exactly where the artist wants it, right on the intricate, shining details of the main subjects.
And finally, Section 5, your turn to draw, applying the Masterclass. We've meticulously deconstructed Jay Salian's incredible work together today, and now the focus shifts back to you, because the true beauty of these techniques is that they're meant to be actively practiced, not just admired. As we look at this final, beautifully complex arrangement, remember what we've uncovered today. It is not magic. By mastering the strict behavior of light, carefully analyzing and mimicking different textures with your specific pencil strokes, and thoughtfully planning your composition, anyone, yes for sure, even a total beginner, can turn a blank, flat page into a brilliant window to reality. It's really all about how you choose to observe the world.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Stop looking at your screen for just a moment and look around the actual room you're sitting in. Where is the light falling right now? What are the absolute brightest highlights and the darkest cast shadows on the objects sitting right next to you? Start observing the real world like an artist, and you just might be inspired to pick up a pencil yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.